The publication is a new military history of Eastern Ontario's 21st Battalion, which served in the First World War.
12 years in the making, and this is the result. The first history of the storied 21st Battalion to be released in decades.
They were heroes, and part of the reason I chose ordinary heroes is there wasn't necessarily anything particularly heroic about these individuals. They were common, man in the street, everyday characters who in some instances naively went overseas, and they ended up doing extraordinary things. But they were just ordinary people. They were no different than the man in the street now. They just happened to live at a time where they were called upon to go to the defense of their country, and they did what they thought had to be done, and went through some pretty horrific experiences. So it's very much a story of the ordinary man doing extraordinary things under extraordinary circumstances. You were a citizen of the country, and there was huge moral pressure on men to go and fight, to the point where if you weren't in uniform and yet you looked physically able, it wasn't uncommon for women to approach you in the street and hand you a white feather as a symbol of a coward. So there was great moral pressure on people to go overseas because almost every family in Canada had someone overseas. There was, I think, somewhere around 500,000 people, men in uniform, overseas in a country with a population of about 11 million. So there was almost no family in Canada that was untouched by the First World War.
And Nichol says it only made sense to launch the book here at this historic building.
This is the logical place to launch a book on the 21st Battalion, because the 21st Battalion was headquartered in this armory. They were raised here in Kingston, trained in Kingston from October 1914 until May of 1915, when they packed up and sailed out of Montreal to England. Spent a few months in England training until about September of 1915, when they actually went over to France and went into the trenches.
Copies of the book can be purchased at Novel Idea on Princess Street here in Kingston, or online at Ordinary Heroes at simpatico.ca. Well, still to come on Newswatch Saturday, a serious trick or treat.